My name's Dean Christensen. I'm the pastor at Grace Baptist Church in St. Helens, Oregon. And a few weeks ago, James Gleason reached out to me and wanted to know how we were surviving amid COVID. And it was interesting because it just didn't feel to me like during COVID we were merely surviving. It felt like in a lot of ways we actually were thriving. And I want to share with you just a couple of ways that we've seen that happen. When I first arrived at Grace about 2 years ago now, one of our elders said to me that he really had a passion and a burden to reach out to the homeless community. We have about 700 in our county, at least before COVID. As we explored ways of doing that, we kept running into dead ends. We just weren't finding any ways to get into the homeless community and try to meet needs there. And then COVID. In a lot of ways, it seemed like things were restrictive and closing down. In other ways, doors were opening for us. And so when COVID hit, virtually all of the soup kitchens in our county were closed down. There was an organization in our area, a community organization, who had access to the homeless camps, but they needed a commercial kitchen. And back in 2006, when this church was built, they decided, and there was some controversy over this, but they decided to build a commercial kitchen, but they had never had it certified. And word got out that maybe our kitchen was able to be certified. And so we worked with the state to get certified as a commercial kitchen for emergency food distribution during COVID, and we got that certification. And now all of a sudden, we've got 250 meals per week going out into the various homeless camps in our county. Something that we had a vision for long before COVID happened, and then all of a sudden, COVID presented an opportunity for us to actually do it. And we're building relationships with other agencies in our community, as well as with homeless people who just are so appreciative of a hot meal. One of the other ministries that came out of serving meals for the homeless was something we called Operation Dignified. A woman in our church, again, just had a burden for homeless people in our community and realized that many of them were trying to get jobs, but didn't really have a good way of getting cleaned up to go to a job interview. And so she sort of envisioned putting together hygiene kits for homeless people in our community. And those are also going out into the homeless camps. As the weather has started to turn cold, this same woman said, you know what, we need to get hats and gloves and coats. One story that I'm just moved by is we have a woman in our church who's a quilter. And we had been told that, don't worry about quality, just we need quantity of warm blankets to go out. Well, this woman, she wasn't having anything to do with that because she felt, especially since we're calling it Operation Dignify, she felt everyone ought to have something nice made for them. And so she's been quilting for homeless people. Quilts that probably are going to get thrashed. But her hope and her prayer is that this person who receives this will feel valued in some way and know that somebody cares. We don't have it all figured out. We're finding our way just like everyone else is. But what I think we're doing well is looking for what we can do instead of seeing all of what we can't do. A mentor of mine decades ago used to say, the worst of times are always the best of times for the gospel, and the light shines brightest where it's the darkest. And I just think we have a great message to tell, the good news of Jesus Christ. And I just want to encourage us all as pastors in our various communities to look for those opportunities to tell the good news of Jesus. They're out there. Walk through the open doors as God opens them for you.